Howdy guys, welcome back to another one. We're going to be doing an 1.5 ounce, 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 18 density TSS load today. Now, I've been watching Matt Tyree's YouTube channel for a few months now. If you don't know who that is, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. He does stuff similar to what me and Josh do at the range, mostly with shotguns, but he does do some rifles too. Now, he tests mostly factory loads, but has tested out some of his grandfather's reloads from back in the day. So, Matt has recently posted a video, actually he's done this several times, but Herders, 1.5 ounce, 12 gauge, TSS, 2 3/4 inch, and from what I'm seeing, and he says this too, the Herders loads are the best budget level 2 3/4 inch 12 gauge TSS load on the market. At 40 yards, they do absolutely incredible. If you guys seen the video we did using Salt Creek custom ammunition, 2 3/4 and 2 3/4 ounce 12 gauge and 3 ounce 10 gauge loads, both 3.5. This Herders load in 1.5 ounce, 2 3/4 inch 12 gauge had the same size pattern. It didn't quite have the density, obviously, because it's a lot less shot, but the pattern was the same size, and at 40 yards, I mean, that's just, you guys got to see it. It was just nightmare on turkeys. It's good stuff. Matt's channel is actually one of my favorite YouTube channels that does stuff similar to what me and Josh do. Also Wade Rush and Roger Atkins. Channels like that, Matt is right up there with one of my favorites. Blue Collar Outdoors is also a really good one. If you haven't checked out or seen any of these people's videos, I highly recommend checking them out. They are some really entertaining stuff. Anyway guys, as always, load this at your own risk. This is something I've come up with. This is going to be using a brand new primed 2 3/4 inch Fiocchi. It doesn't matter if you have the low brass or high brass. It doesn't make a difference. The high brass just looks cooler. So for powder, I'm using Blue Dot. Going to be 35 grains of it. And this bottle I just cracked open, so oh, you gotta love that smell. Blue Dot smells amazing. It's like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of a barbecue sauce, a really smoky, not very sweet barbecue sauce. It just smells good. So those Herders loads are supposed to be running 1200 FPS. Well, Matt chronoed one, and it was running, I think it was 1336 FPS, if I remember right. I could be wrong about that, but I'm going to be aiming for 1200 to 1250 FPS. So, yep, 35 of Blue Dot. We're using again, Fiocchi Hall. A TPS wad. You have to trim this down to length, about 42 millimeters. And we're using a Mylar wrap. I don't have one sitting out here yet, but we also need 2 1/4 inch 20 gauge felt wads. So first things first, we got to trim this wad down. Right now, this is an unmodified, unslit Ballistic Products 2 3/4 inch TPS wad. Right now, as it sits, this wad is 46.1 millimeters. I think it's just supposed to be 46, but anyway, we need to trim this down to roughly 42. And to do that, I have Gary Caskey's 12 gauge adjustable wad trimmer here. If that's upside down, I'm sorry, but this isn't a 12 gauge wad trimmer. I have it already set to trim off roughly 4 millimeters. Just like that. The wad is now cut. Did a really good job. This wad is now measuring, should be right at 42 millimeters, 41.8. We'll run with that. Okay, so next, since this is an unslit wad, we need to slit it ourselves. So again, using one of Gary's tools here, this is a 10 gauge wad slitter, obviously meant for 10 gauge wads. But 4-pedal, I have it set to do a roughly 3/4 cut. That's what I like the best, is 3/4. So we got 4 pedals. This one cut about half, not 3/4, but that's okay. So if you guys want any of Gary's tools, facebook.com/gary.d.caskey, C-A-S-K-E-Y. He makes, obviously, wad trimmers, hull trimmers, wad slitters. He makes wad tampers, slug nudgers, stuff to seat wads and slugs with. But yeah, if you guys want any of Gary's tools, facebook.com/gary.d.caskey. He will hook you up. So, 35 grains of blue dot. Makes me sad. This first can I got here about a year and a half ago. Well, my friend Zach got it for me, so thank you, Zach. It's empty. Couldn't find blue dot for the longest time. Zach managed to find some at a reloading store in Nicholasville, Kentucky. They happened to have some blue dot and some Winchester AA Super Handicap, little gun, all kinds of cool stuff that was at the time hard to get here. But where is my powder dipper? Found it. It was in the cup with my TSS shot. But yeah, 35 grains of blue dot. That was 26 there. 31, 34, 37. I overshot it. That's okay. Just dump a little bit back out. 35 grains. As always, you guys want to double check that powder charge. This should be a pretty low pressure round, but always double check your powder charges. Now we need that 42 millimeter TPS wad. That is slit, 4-pedal, half cut. I meant to do a 3/4, but that's okay. There you go. On 10 gauge, this is set to do a 3/4 cut, but obviously 12 gauge wads are a little bit smaller inside, so it won't cut quite as deep. So ended up with a half cut. Anyway, guys, now we need a 1/2 inch of 20 gauge felt wad. Again, these are 1/4 inch, so together they make a half. Just get that down in there. Make sure they're nice and even, and they're not lopsided or anything. A Mylar wrap. I'm using the Ballistic Products My Slim Mylar. Yeah, My Slim Mylar. The My Thin is for larger bores. It's just a bigger piece of Mylar, but yep. All you want to do is roll this up and set it right down inside your wad. And I know you can't see this, but it is in there. If the lighting looks better today, that's because my wife put a new light bulb in the light above me. But, time for shot. So in the video Matt posted recently, he was using a 6.75 constriction, non-ported, and like I said, it shot just a nightmare on turkeys. But we need a 1.5 ounces, which is 1.5 of TSS. I am using number 9 shot, and this is the 18 density. We have our shot in place, and the shot is right up to the top of the wad, which is exactly where you need it to be. Now, you don't have to do this, but I am. Since this is a TSS load, I'm going to use a little bit of buffer in it. I just grabbed the Ballistic Products mix number 47. You can use original or ITX or BSB buffer if you have those. The BSB or ITX buffer is actually meant for TSS, but the ITX buffer has been rebranded to BSB. That's what I was meaning to say there. But anyway, using a, scoop of the Lee 2.2 cc dipper worth of mix number 47 buffer right on top of that, and just tap it down until it's flush with the pellets. Okay, so after we have our buffer in place, this is a total payload weight of 1.52, so that's right in spec with an 1.5 ounce load. So anyway, if you want to load just a straight 1.5 ounce payload, then only load 1.48 ounces of TSS shot, and then the buffer, if you want to use buffer, then that'll get you right at 1.5 ounces. So we are ready to crimp this. I'm going with a 6-point crimp. Obviously using the reload all, need a little bit more. Pre-crimp looks awesome. You know something funny, guys? This looks like it's just a regular 1.1 ounce load in here because, you know, TSS 18 density is so much heavier than lead. It just looks like it's a 1.1 ounce load in this with a regular wad, sort of. Anyway, this is number 9 shot. Number 9 shot is roughly equal to number 4 lead in terms of performance. However, the TSS shot has less drag, you know, downwind, or less drag against the wind, I should say. They are more effective than lead at longer ranges. They hold their energy better. And that's due to, again, the low drag, and also because the pellets are a lot heavier than lead. Anyway, let's crimp this now. Looks like a factory load. I know you can't see it. Well, actually you can there. Looks like a factory load. We do not have a pinhole in there. Looks great. I'm going to taper this with this, it's called a cone crimp die on eBay. Just go to eBay, search Lee Loadall cone crimp, and you'll find it. They make these in 12 gauge and 20 gauge. The 12 gauge one, unmodified, will do 12 gauge and 16 gauge. The 20 gauge one will obviously do 20 gauge and 24 gauge. So, let's just taper this real quick. Beautiful. The clear haul is impossible to see the taper, but it is tapered. So when I mentioned the 675 constriction earlier, some of you guys may be going, are you crazy? That stuff's way harder than steel. You can't shoot that out of such a tight constriction. Well guys, TSS, especially small shot like this, it likes tight constriction. The pellets are so small that it's not going to cause any damage to a choke that is rated for TSS. So you're all good there. Whenever we fired the 3 ounce 10 gauge load and the 2 3/4 ounce 12 gauge load, again, both 3.5, and they were from Salt Creek Custom Ammunition, we used a 685 for the 10 gauge and a 670 for the 12 gauge. Again, Matt was using a non-ported extended choke in 675 constriction for a 1.5 ounce 12 gauge TSS number 9 18 density load. Anyway guys, I think that's going to do it for me. Please like and subscribe. We always appreciate that. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below and we'll get back to you. If you want to, go check out our Patreon. It's as low as $1 a month. You get early access to content, and every penny we get goes right back into the channel. A link to that, along with our Instagram and Rumble, will be in the description below. Until next time, you guys take it easy, and we'll see you in the next one.